Which of America's largest cities have the greatest potential for transitioning into a 15-minute city? And no, Seattle and Portland, Oregon aren't in the top 10 of this list. You might know about 15-minute cities more from their negative backlash than the actual idea. It's taken on a pretty big conspiracy theory that it's a policy of the government restricting people from moving outside a 15-minute radius, which is ironic because it's actually a policy towards more personal freedom, not less. A 15-minute city is actually the idea that residents can access all essential daily amenities and services within a 15-minute walk or bike ride from their home. Some leaders of cities have declared this a goal when making decisions involving transportation, housing, and really all land use decisions. While most people would probably think, yeah, that's what I would expect from a city, right? The ability to live close to other people, restaurants, and have things to do. It makes sense. But just because there are conspiracy theories about it doesn't mean the 15-minute city idea is free from criticism. A good constructive critique of this concept that I appreciate was made in a video by Oh the Urbanity, noting that it's a good overarching goal for a city, but the benefit of cities isn't just living in one neighborhood in isolation from everything else. It's the fact that you can get on public transportation and access that unique bookstore you like 30 minutes away, or a concert 25 minutes away from your neighborhood. They also noted that people usually don't move to a city for a random job. You move for a specific job, for your interests, and that office might not have a school, a park, grocery store, and all of the things that you're interested in within 15 minutes. And that's okay. That's kind of the point of cities. They should have all your necessities, but it's okay that another neighborhood more than 15 minutes away has something that makes you feel like you need to travel there. In light of this 15-minute city concept, I came across this article that asked the question, which of America's largest cities have the greatest potential for transitioning into a 15-minute city? I like this perspective because it's not from a city planner, so it's interesting to see a different perspective from a data reporter from MoveBuddha.com who uses a methodology of 5 metrics: a walk and bike score, a dining, parks, and community score, a childcare score, a health and safety score, and a housing affordability score. As the list progresses, I think you'll notice a common theme. Number 10 is Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati has one of the higher housing affordability scores, but is pretty low on density of childcare, which is measured by the density of childcare centers, public schools, and private schools. The median sale price for a home in Cincinnati is $259,000, which is actually an 8% increase from last year. One ironic part about this list is that most of these cities were 15-minute cities. All U.S. cities were 15-minute cities before urban renewal projects and before highways were built in the center of cities. They just called them cities instead of having a planning buzzword for the concept of mixed use and good transportation systems. Number 9 is Oakland, California. Oakland has a high walk and bike and dining score and a high parks and community score, but gets dragged down with a low childcare, health and safety, and housing affordability score. Oakland's ability to be a 15-minute city appears to be very neighborhood dependent, with popular neighborhoods like Rockridge leading the way with its walkability and BART access, as well as other neighborhoods like Grand Lake and Piedmont Ave. Number 8 is Long Beach, California. The city is consistently ranked one of the most walkable cities in the United States. It has a dense amount of dining, parks, and community amenities, which is measured by the density of coffee shops, restaurants, parks, social associations, labor force participation, food environment index, and access to exercise opportunities. Its public transportation system is Long Beach Transit, which is a bus service, and the city also has an at-grade light rail station on the A line of the Los Angeles Metro system. Number 7 is Minneapolis, Minnesota. The city scores highly in walking and biking, dining in parks, and housing affordability, but lower on childcare. The city is famous for its skyway system for winter travel and also has a light rail system. The blue line of the light rail system connects the airport to the Mall of America and the sports stadiums, and their green line connects Minneapolis to St. Paul. The city also has a bus rapid transit system. Minneapolis also updated their zoning to allow more density in certain areas of the city. Number 6 is Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore scores highly because of its walk and bike score, its dining score, parks and community score, and its housing affordability. The median rent in Baltimore is around $1,650 a month, which is 21% lower than the national average. The Mount Vernon, Inner Harbor, and Fells Point neighborhoods in Baltimore in particular are known for their walkability and access to housing, employment opportunities, and restaurants. Number 5 is Washington, D.C. I would argue D.C. is already pretty close to being a 15-minute city. D.C. is very walkable, and their parks are well distributed throughout the city. And most residential neighborhoods are built at a medium density and are connected to a commercial corridor when you can find grocery stores, dining, and retail options. For trips to work, arts, or entertainment activities that are longer than a walk or bike ride, the metro is safe and convenient. Number 4 is Boston, Massachusetts. Having worked in Boston for 4 years, I find Boston to be one of the most overrated cities because of how disconnected each neighborhood is from one another. I think the city's entire identity is focused around its sports teams rather than the quality of its city life. From a transportation perspective, South Station doesn't even connect to North Station, and the financial district sits in the middle of the city and serves as a ghost town after working hours and on the weekends. Also, Boston is a coastal city, yet there are no good city beaches. You have to drive an hour to get to a decent beach. But outside of my personal Boston bias, it ranks pretty high from a walking and bike score and on a dining, parks, and community score perspective. In Boston's defense, the city became pretty disconnected as a result of urban renewal in the 1960s, which carved out the West End and South Boston, as well as I-90 and I-95 being built directly through the middle of the city. And their aging public transportation system is home to the oldest subway tunnel in North America. So, given those challenges, it does have neighborhoods where it probably is close to being a 15-minute city, but housing affordability and childcare weigh its score down from being higher. Number 3 is Pittsburgh. The quality of Pittsburgh's urban design and activity surprised me when I visited. Its walking, bike, dining, and housing affordability scores drive its ranking very high on this list, which doesn't surprise me. The housing market is less intense there than the coastal cities, making it more affordable, and you still have access to mixed-use neighborhoods and commercial corridors within a walk or bike ride from residential areas. Even their stadium district is walkable from downtown. Number 2 is San Francisco. The city that used to be called the Paris of the West also scores highly for its transportation, dining, parks, and community amenities. It's not a surprise San Francisco ranks so highly, given the compact nature of the city's peninsula shape. It's only surprising that its housing affordability doesn't make this ranking fall further. If you can afford it, there are neighborhoods in San Francisco like Inner Sunset, Inner Richmond, and Middle Sunset that have walkable shopping areas in the heart of residential communities. Number 1 is Miami, Florida. A walking and bike score of 8, a parks and dining score of 8.4, a childcare score of 10, and a health and safety score of 7.2 pushes Miami to the top of the list. Maybe this is why Miami's population has increased by over 10% since 2020. Its low housing affordability score makes sense given the desire to live here. But that really is the main takeaway I have from this list. I think the common theme is that the cities that are the most walkable, have the most amenities, and that are the closest to being considered a 15-minute city are some of the most expensive to live in. One of the reasons being that there is a high demand to live in a city where you aren't dependent on your car, where you can have the goods and services you use most within close proximity to your home, and where you can rely on public transportation to get you to the places that are a little further away, The most desirable cities seem to embody the 15-minute city philosophy. Now, there are 3 noticeable omissions from this top 10 list. The first being New York City, which didn't make the top 25. I'm not sure how this happened because there are neighborhoods in New York that would seem to me to qualify as a 15-minute neighborhood. Philadelphia and Chicago are 2 other cities outside of the top 10, also with neighborhoods that have the ability to be considered a 15-minute city, but they ranked 13th and 17th. Maybe their sprawling outskirts weigh their score down compared to more compact cities like Boston. If you're interested in cities, economics, or planning, subscribe for more videos.